Praise be Jesus and Mary. Dear brethren, it's always edifying to see the promptness with which Levi left his customs post and followed our Lord. But we need to look at something much deeper in this. He wasn't just leaving his job for our Lord. He was leaving his life of sin. And this is the essence of what is taking place here. He was leaving behind all that activity that was sinful, all his sins, and making a firm act of will to follow our Lord, which doesn't just mean walking a few paces behind him. It meant accomplishing his will, no longer sinning, but in a greater and more perfect sense, accomplishing his will, following him, obeying him. And this is what needs to be applied to us. We need to have this firmness of will in wanting to leave behind our life of sin, and at the same time have this firmness of will in wanting to pursue the fulfillment of God's will in our lives. This is of key importance. And it's very often what's lacking in the lives of so many Christians, this firm goodwill to grow in holiness, to accomplish God's will. So, one is sort of there, and you just sort of do things out of habit, but there's no real desire, and it's not cultivated in any way, and it's just not present so many times to really grow in God's love. So we need to have this firm will. Our Lord, so many times in the Gospels reveals himself under, different signs and images. For example, the shepherd, good shepherd, and also the good shepherd who goes in seek of the 99 of the one lost sheep, leaving the 99 to graze. But here he reveals himself under the image of a physician. So who would, if there's anyone who's got some kind of sickness or illness, and they go to a physician that's, is of renowned fame for his capability and competence as a doctor, well, you go with a sense of trust. This doctor is going to help me. So if that's the case between a sick person and a physician, well, how much more should it not be between us and our Lord? Whereas so often when a soul perceives or experiences in some way its own weakness, it sort of feels itself, it sort of loses its confidence in God, loses its trust in Him. Now I'm weak, I feel myself weak and frail, and therefore Lord God is not going to love me in some way. He's not going to refuse to look at me. Well, certainly our weaknesses and our failures, and above all our willful sins, cannot please Him. That's evident. But at the same time, we need to acknowledge our weakness, and go to Him as a sick person goes to the physician, saying, Lord, you want to heal me. You desire to heal me. You desire to make me overcome these weaknesses and of mine and this misery, and grow in virtue, grow in the likeness with you, be healed. So we want to cultivate this greater trust in our Lord and in our Blessed Mother also, when we make this experience of our weakness, that it not be an obstacle between us and them, but rather just a motive for having greater humility. Now, Lord, how much I need your healing hand. We can also understand here how necessary it is for us to perceive our weakness. Now, can you imagine someone who went to a physician saying, doctor, I'm perfectly well. Well, he's going to say, well, why did you come here? Well, isn't that what many people do when they say, I'm okay. I don't need, I don't do evil. So, well, that's what you're doing in God's sight. You're like someone who's going to a doctor and saying, I'm okay. There's nothing wrong with me. He's just going to say, well, why did you come? In a similar way, We need to recognize our weakness and our need for being healed before God. Otherwise, we're going to place an obstacle. So perceiving our weakness, making an experience of it sometimes, and acknowledging that's a key. It's a key step in receiving the help of the divine physician. He wants you to recognize that you need his help, and so cry out to him and open yourself to him with trust, and that'll open the door to his intervention. And how much does he not desire to heal us and to make us grow? Let us turn to our Blessed Mother. We can call her what mother does not have this great care of her children when they're sick? And so we can also see in her this image, reflection of the divine physician. Now, she loves to take care of her children and heal them, especially when she sees them weak and frail, but at the same time full of confidence in her. So let us turn to her with confidence, with humility, recognizing our weaknesses and our misery, and with her help we will be able to overcome them. Praise be Jesus and Mary.